What is up, YouTube? It is BBGamer05 here. I wanted to kind of make a video discussing the reasons why I personally think FNAF 2 is the best game in the series. Feel free to tell me your favorite game in the comments. It's really just my opinion. If you agree with me, that's cool. If you don't, that's cool too. We can have a cool discussion in the comments if you want to give me some other FNAF games that you think are better, or reasons that you think this is also the best game. It's really up to you. If you enjoy, then make sure you like and subscribe. But yeah, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Thank you all for watching. So, if you ask me, FNAF 2 is arguably better from a gameplay standpoint because it gives you more to do than FNAF 1, since FNAF 1 all you really had to do was close the doors and stuff like that, so you had to check the lights, close the doors, and this gives you more stuff to do, like you have to check the music box, make sure that you put the mask on if one of them gets into your office, and you have to check the vents, the hallway, you have to flash Foxy repeatedly. I think it gives you a lot more to do, which granted this was, like, Scott had an idea of how to make FNAF games. He already made one, so he just added more to it to make it a better experience, which I think he did a very good job on with FNAF 2. You can see the animatronics, their designs are great, they work well with the environment. They aren't really built, at least not the toy animatronics, aren't really built to be scary, but I'd say they work pretty well in the environment they're in to kind of give a bit of a creep factor, not too over the top. But they aren't as creepy as the FNAF 1. I'll give FNAF 1 that. They are not as creepy as the FNAF 1 animatronics, of course. Which they're not meant to be. But I'd say the scariest one would probably be Toy Chica because of the beak and black eyes. Works really well with the environment. Seeing them in the vents is pretty cool. It's like basically just the Windows mechanic from FNAF 1. You have enough time to get your mask on, and then I know Toy Bonnie will come in front of the screen and stuff, and you kind of know when he goes away. It is very similar to FNAF 1 in a lot of ways, but it is very different as well. Like I said, it's just more to do really than FNAF 1. A lot more mechanics to balance, and there is a gameplay loop for this, but it is a bit difficult to learn compared to FNAF 1. But overall, great gameplay. I love the design of the building. I'd say the music box is very well balanced. It like balances everything out. Foxy, I'm glad that Scott made it so you can't just put the mask on for Foxy too. He has one animatronic that you have to actually take the mask off to fend off. And Balloon Boy is another, I forgot to mention him, but he is another great mechanic, so you have to make sure he doesn't even kill you, but he will result in you getting killed by Foxy. I'd say that works really, like those two work really well together. It's just a great gameplay like experience. I've had a great time with it, and I hope you all have as well. Moving on to the character designs, because that's quite a topic because there's so many characters in this game. So here we go. Starting off with the toy animatronics, you'll see Toy Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica here. They're all very kid-friendly in design. Like they have the big red cheeks or whatever. A lot less frightening than, say, the FNAF 1 or the Withered animatronics. But yeah, they're supposed to be that way because they're toy animatronics. They were for the grand reopening of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, so they were designed to be more kid-friendly. Toy Freddy and Toy Bonnie have a similar, like, chubby-ish build to their FNAF 1 counterparts, while Toy Chica is more slimmed down to be basically the opposite of her FNAF 1 and Withered counterparts. So, yeah, that's pretty much all for the toys. They're just not very scary, although Toy Chica without her beak and the black eyes can be pretty scary. I'll give her that. So moving on to the Withered animatronics. As you can see here with the Withered Freddy, Bunny, and Chica, they are much more similar to their FNAF 1 counterparts than, say, the toy animatronics are, because they're a lot more, like, you can tell they're supposed to be more furry, and just overall are very creepy in design. There's no red cheeks, they're not made of plastic. You see Withered Bonnie's missing his face, which is a very cool design choice on Scott's part. Withered Chica has that unhinged jaw, and that looks like she could just use to bite your head off. Withered Freddy is very similar to his FNAF 1 counterpart, just in his overall design, although he is more blocky with his head. His head's a bit more blocky than round like his FNAF 1 Freddy counterpart. Overall great designs. They keep relatively similar body shapes too, so other than the withering, they're not all that different, although there are slight design changes to make them different from their FNAF 1 versions. Okay, moving on to the Foxies of the game. You can see Foxy, or Withered Foxy, has a lot more withering on him than his FNAF 1 counterpart, because his FNAF 1 counterpart was withered, but I'd say this is definitely a higher degree, just slightly though. You can see a chunk of his head's torn off, revealing his endoskeleton ear. His legs, you can't see them in this picture, but they are still torn off. Not really torn off, but the shell is missing, like his FNAF 1 counterpart, which is interesting to me. His hand is still exposed, but there's a lot more endoskeleton just overall just showing on this one than, say, his FNAF 1 version. Definitely fits the name Withered, that's for sure. Moving on to the Mangle, it is a just giant amalgamation of endoskeleton parts, and I find it interesting. A great design for the character, or for a character in this game. She fits well with lighting and stuff in, say, you know, Prize Counter. There was some gameplay of that earlier, but overall great design. There's the two endoskeleton heads, which I find interesting. I still don't know what that's for, but it is interesting that it's just an interesting design feature for Mangle. But yep, that is all for them. I'll move on to the Marionette and Balloon Boy now. Starting off with the puppet, you can see the puppet is very linky in design, has the white stripes on her arms. I say her because it is possessed by the spirit of Charlie, which is, fun fact, the daughter of Henry, which is the founder of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, alongside William Afton. But moving on to the design again, very linky in design. The puppet is the one in the music box, or that you have to wind up the music box for, to keep her at bay, otherwise she will kill you. It has great design in my opinion. The face is really creepy, and just seeing it kind of rise out of the music box in FNAF VR, for instance, is terrifying to me. You can see the puppet kind of rise out of the box in different frames of FNAF 2, but it's not nearly as pronounced as, say, VR is, which I will say that is definitely one of the better ideas that they had for that game. But yeah, Balloon Boy, let's move on to that little demon right there. Balloon Boy is a pain in the game, but he has a really funny little design. You can see him in Cam 10, I think, in there, but he will go from Cam 10 all the way over to the vents, and he'll go in the vents, and if you don't put your Freddy mask on in time, he will go into your office and laugh, and he drains your battery so that Foxy kills you, which is a really cool kind of duo team up there. It's really cool how those two work hand in hand to kind of end your run. But yeah, he's definitely a pain, but I love him at the same time. Okay, moving on to my final thoughts on the game. So final thoughts on the game, I love it. It was actually the first one I got to play fully. I always wanted to play FNAF 1 like back in 2014, but I never really got the chance to, because there was no demo on like phones or anything, so I couldn't play it. But trust me, I'll watch the crap out of FNAF 1 when it was first out. But I got to play FNAF 2 because it had a demo, and I played the demo so many times, and it was just night one, but I always kept going back to it because it was just so fun to me. It has so much going on, and it's just a really fun game. A lot of really good concepts in here that I kind of wish were brought back in the future, like the mask. It would be a pretty cool mechanic to have. I feel like they kind of did something similar with Freddy being your guardian in FNAF not Help Wanted, but Security Breach. It's not the same by any means, but it is very similar in that regard. because you're kind of using him as a disguise, sort of. But yeah, just a great game, and I love it. It's my favorite one in the entire series, besides FNAF 6, of course. But that's a video for another day. Wink, wink. But yeah, that's about all. If you guys enjoyed this, make sure you like and subscribe. That's really about all I have to say. Thank you for watching, and make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments on like what your favorite FNAF game is. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And thank you for watching.